So it's fairly common for people to have experiences with the fearful avoidant attachment style when dating, where maybe 6 months in, 4 months in, 8 months in, the fearful avoidant attachment style suddenly leaves the relationship. And when I say suddenly, I mean that it can feel like everything's going quite well. And it seems like the wool or the rug sort of gets pulled out from underneath you. And it seems to happen out of the blue. Now, at a root level, there are different things that are often happening beneath the surface that because the fearful avoidant has that avoidant side to their attachment style, they're probably not communicating openly, vulnerably, or sharing. And so in this video, we're going to talk about the top 5 reasons that fearful avoidants leave relationships and the different triggers that cause them to do this at times so that you can use this information in a healthy way and also so that you can become aware of these different patterns if you are a fearful avoidant attachment style yourself. So, first and foremost, a lack of transparency really scares a fearful avoidant at a subconscious level. You may not realize it if you're a fearful avoidant. You may feel like it's a sense of irritability or frustration or something you don't like. But if you actually pay close attention, when there's a lack of transparency, like if somebody doesn't disclose something, or they seem like they're hiding something, or if they're just really missing context for things, and it feels like there's a lot of question marks around something, that lack of transparency will often cause a fearful avoidant to subconsciously start thinking, like having these autopilot, more subconscious thoughts about, is this the right relationship for me? I don't know if I should be here any longer. And a lack of transparency can really get under the fearful avoidant skin. And so it's important that if you're dating a fearful avoidant, that you communicate from the perspective of being transparent. It doesn't mean you have to disclose like every little detail about your life. But if you went out, Friday night and didn't call back or something like that, share what happened, share why you fell asleep, you were out with friends and you forgot, like whatever it is, that transparency will go a very, very long way. Number 2, broken trust. Broken trust tends to trigger a form of cognitive distortion for a fearful avoidant, often referred to as magnification. And magnification is essentially when the fearful avoidant will magnify something small and turn it into something much bigger. And this is because we tend to magnify things that we're really afraid about at a subconscious level because we have past history with. So, for the fearful avoidance specifically, broken trust will often be magnified big time. So, I mean, like small forms of broken trust, like you tell a white lie. You said that you liked the dress that they were wearing and then you really didn't and you told them later. Or you said, I'll be there in 15 minutes and you were there 45 minutes later. These types of dynamics, they can really erode trust quite quickly and easily for a fearful avoidant because fearful avoidants have a lot of pain points here historically. They have a lot of broken trust historically because of so much chaos often in childhood or their upbringing or different past relationships. And so small forms of broken trust will often trigger a fearful avoidant to consider leaving quite quickly. And also, of course, large forms of broken trust will absolutely do that as well. Number 3, if there's a lack of effort and feeling like there's a certain degree of depth and care and priority put towards the relationship is something fearful avoidants really look for, even if they don't communicate about it. When somebody's pulling away, they're inconsistent, they're not putting effort in, they're not making the relationship some degree of priority. Fearful avoidance will again feel like, okay, I'm probably going to get hurt by this person in this relationship. It's better that I kind of cut the relationship loose and move on, move in a different direction earlier. And that can help me to feel a little more secure. And I don't have to deal with this sting of the uncertainty. I don't have to deal with the sting of being in the gray area, which is something fearful avoidants really don't like in relationships. Now, by the way, if you're looking to heal a relationship and work through something in a relationship, we have courses that you can check out for free for 14 days just for the month of May as sort of a one off. And in them, it's all the attachment style pairings. So you can look at the FA with a DA course, the DA with an AP course, the FA with an AP course. And you gain access to all the different things that you should work on, heal, fix, all the pain points that will come up and how to address them, all the boundaries, the needs that each person will have, the core wounds that will be triggered, and all the tools you need to solve for them at a really deep level. Um, I find honestly that some of the YouTube videos here, because they have to be short, often they're not nearly as deep. I feel like they're scratching the surface compared to the courses. So go in, check out a course, take the free trial, use it to your advantage. And if you want to heal or break through a relationship, you actually have access to all of the courses at PDF. So you can just search in the dashboard for the course you're looking for when you join in, and you can use that link down below. So the next big piece, or number 4, is if there are too many expectations. If your avoidants already put so many expectations on themselves to be like basically perfect in relationships, they're often terrified of like making a mistake in a relationship, hurting somebody, doing something wrong. And so they'll put so much pressure and so many expectations on themselves. And then if they feel like somebody's just meeting them with expectations, they'll often feel like they are being taken advantage of, or they will feel like their boundaries are violated and they don't know how to communicate very well. So they'll communicate with their actions, in this case, by pulling away a lot of the time rather than their words. When they're really triggered about something that's like a huge thing, that's more conflict oriented, touches more pain points, that's when they'll be more sharp with their words. But if they feel like somebody has too many expectations for them or is putting too much pressure, that's where they can often just withdraw completely. And number 5, pushing too much too soon. If fearful avoidants feel like there's too much codependency in the relationship early on, especially in that first kind of like 4 to 8 month period, really 0 to 8 month period, they'll often feel afraid of losing themselves completely in a relationship, or of being like swallowed whole by the relationship, or losing their sense of self. And this is because fearful avoidants absolutely have a lot of codependent patterns. And they know that when they're codependent, they kind of lose being able to focus on their lives, themselves, what's, showing up for them in their career area of life, their friendships, their romantic relationships, their relationship to money. And so if they feel like things are moving too fast too soon, it can really trigger that set of fears, and that can also cause them to really pull away. So important things to communicate about if you do see these patterns arising, or if you are concerned that this is happening. Have an open dialogue, an open conversation. Work on communicating your needs before you leave. If you're a fearful avoidant, that's a huge place of growth. Or your boundaries before you leave. Communication before just the flight response is a really important step on the roadmap to becoming secure. And if you're the loved one of a fearful avoidant, encourage them to communicate. Let them know, hey, I want to be here for you as much as possible, but I can't know the things that you don't tell me all the time. So the more communication happens in here, the better things will tend to go. So I hope this makes sense. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching and for being here. If you're enjoying this channel, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing, and hitting the notification bell, because I put daily YouTube videos up for you, and then you won't miss any. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.